Today I'll be loading and firing some paper cartridges in the LeMat Revolver. I'm Dustin and you're watching Guns of the West. I want to start the video just with a nice close-up look at the LeMat Revolver because I've had so many comments on the uniqueness of it. And it really is. It's a beautiful, interesting gun. And I've told you in some other videos what I like about it, what I don't like about it, but I've not yet tried paper cartridges in it. Now, I'll admit, the design of this gun is not ideal for paper cartridges because they have to be loaded over here on the left side of the cylinder. And you can see there's a lot going on over here, a lot of parts, so it's hard to get a cartridge down in there. But what I found is if I pop up the loading lever and then just sort of bring it down around its hook, I can get the whole thing down out of the way. And then with the hammer at half cock, I've got a good spot right there where I can drop in a cartridge. And then as I bring the lever back up, you can see how the plunger will then load the cartridge down into the chamber. And I'll be sticking with the cowboy load today. So instead of loading all 9 of these chambers, I'll be loading 8 with these 8 cartridges that you see here. And these cartridges, I should mention, were made with the Guns of the West paper cartridge kit, which is very handy. And of course, there's a link in the description down below if you'd like one. Now, I did mention the other day that I just recently came out with this 44 caliber XL version of the cartridge former. And this built-in powder measure holds 30 grains instead of the 25 grain charge that's been in my traditional one. Now, on today's video, though, I'm going to stick with the more traditional 25 grain former, just because, as I've pointed out in other videos, some of the parts on here are a little fragile and loading lever tends to pop up under recoil. So I'm just going to keep the recoil down a little bit by sticking to the 25 grains. And also, these nipples that you see, before I head out, I'm going to take those out and replace them with slick shot nipples just for safety. This gun has chain fired on me, as you may have seen in a previous video, but the slick shot nipples seem to take care of that by sealing them up better, fitting the caps better so we don't get sparks shared between chambers. Well, why don't we head out to the range now and see how the gun fires with these paper cartridges. With the hammer at half cock, the cylinder's free to spin. Now I'm going to move this loading assembly out of the way, as I said before, and then I can get the cartridge to drop right down into that chamber. And getting the loading assembly back in place. Now you can see as I struggle to do this, and as I've said before about the LeMat, it's not the greatest loading lever, and I apologize for the angle of the camera here. But with a little push, I can now get the cartridge down in there, and I'm just going to repeat that all the way around until I've loaded 8 of them. And since I didn't pre-dip the cartridges in this lube, I'm just going to smear some into the mouth of each chamber. And of course, there's a link in the description for this stuff as well if you're interested in it. And these caps that I'm using are the Remington No. 10 percussion caps. I found that the action on this gun can get stuck a little bit. At first I thought it was percussion caps getting jammed, but it's not. It's actually just the way the cylinder lines up. Sometimes you need to kind of jiggle the hammer and cylinder a little bit to get it working again. Well, I have to say, the LeMat shoots these paper cartridges pretty well. The distance to the target was 15 yards, which is not horribly far, but it's a pretty typical distance to practice from with a handgun. You can see most of the shots are grouped pretty well, except for that one flyer up high, and I think we can pretty safely just blame me for that. So this is pretty good. And just one little interesting thing to note, I was aiming at the red bullseye in the center, and unlike the Colts that shoot high, you can see this LeMat with this powder charge shoots a bit low and to the right. Well, I really hope you enjoyed taking yet another look today at the beautiful, unique LeMat Revolver as it shot those paper cartridges, and it shot them pretty well, I'd say, even though the design of the gun makes it a little awkward to load them. Please don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos. And if you look in the video description, you'll see where to find me on social media, and of course where to find great Guns of the West products like those paper cartridge kits. Thank you so much for watching.